Now, Caitlin Clark's politics does not align with the politics of many of her own fans. We don't care. We don't. All right? We don't. We want to watch her go out, play basketball, and throttle the shit out of everybody. All right? But the activist basketball players in the league hate her fan base. Look, they hated Iowa's fan base.
I voted, so I feel like
you think you have a good indication. I am the only one, by the way, that has seen this list.
Yeah. Whoa.
We already announced on WNBA Countdown that Caitlin Clark and Natasha Collier are the captains, meaning they got the most fan votes, meaning they're going to draft their team on July 8th on WNBA Countdown on ESPN.
Congratulations to them, by the way.
The 2024 WNBA All-Star vote was never just about picking players. It was a referendum disguised as a ranking, a quiet, anonymous ballot that accidentally exposed a deep psychological fracture running straight through the heart of the league. On one side, you have millions of new fans, a tidal wave of energy, ticket sales, and television ratings unlike anything the sport has ever seen. On the other, you have the league's established veterans, the architects of the modern WNBA, who feel their house is being taken over by a stranger. The results didn't just name all-stars. They drew a battle line, and the story of that vote is the story of a league at war with itself. To understand what happened, you have to know that the All-Star selection process isn't just one vote. It's a weighted system split between three distinct groups: the fans, the media, and the players themselves. Think of it as a three-act play. And in Act 1, the fans delivered their verdict with the force of a tidal wave. They voted in overwhelming numbers, and their message was unequivocal. Caitlin Clark finished as the #1 overall vote-getter. It wasn't even close. This was the voice of the market, the roar of the sold-out arenas, the sound of millions of credit cards being swiped for jerseys and tickets. It was a landslide victory for the revolution. Act 2 was delivered by the media, the journalists and broadcasters who cover the league day in and day out. Their vote was more measured, a reflection of both statistics and narrative. They ranked Caitlin Clark as the third best guard in the league, a respectable, logical placement. It acknowledged her undeniable, historic impact while also tipping a hat to other established guards having excellent seasons. It was the voice of reason, the balanced perspective. You could see the logic. But that's where the story takes a fascinating and frankly bizarre turn. Act 3 belonged to the players, her peers, the women she shares the court with every single night. When their votes were tallied, Caitlin Clark was ranked as the 9th best guard in the WNBA. 9th. Not 4th, not 5th, 9th. It was a statistical impossibility. A decision so disconnected from reality that it stopped being a ranking and became something else entirely, a declaration. It was a silent, collective, and deliberate statement from the league's old guard. And the message was clear: you may be the fan favorite, but you are not one of us. This is the dissonance at the heart of the conflict. How can a player be the 9th best guard on paper, but be treated as the #1 threat on the court? Every single night, opposing teams build their entire defensive strategy around stopping Caitlin Clark. They double-team her the moment she crosses half-court. They pick her up for 94 feet, face guarding her with a suffocating intensity reserved for the league's most lethal scorers. They don't game plan for her like she's the 9th best guard. They game plan for her like she's Michael Jordan. So the vote wasn't an evaluation of her talent. It was an act of psychological defiance. To understand this, you have to understand the unwritten code of professional sports. It's the idea of paying your dues, of earning your stripes. In the eyes of many veterans, Clark, a rookie, was leapfrogging the line. She was getting the endorsements, the media coverage, the all-star captaincy, all the things they had to grind for years to achieve. In their minds, ranking her 9th was a way of putting her in her place, a reminder that respect within the locker room has to be earned, regardless of how many tickets you sell. It's about protecting the sanctity of a league they built with their own sweat and tears, long before the private jets started showing up. And this on-paper disrespect bleeds directly into the on-court reality. The 9th place vote is just a written version of the message she receives physically every game. It's a nightly gauntlet of hip checks, moving screens, and uncalled body blocks that blur the line between tough defense and targeted aggression. The narrative is that she needs to get stronger, that this is just welcome to the league physicality. But when the league's biggest star is consistently being treated like a human pinball, and the slides on the court are mirrored by a coordinated slide on the ballot, it stops looking like a simple adjustment period and starts looking like a pattern of behavior. Now, let's zoom out and look at the financial elephant in the room, because this is where the players' protest vote starts to look like an act of self-sabotage. For its entire history, the WNBA has been subsidized by the NBA. It has not been a profitable enterprise. Caitlin Clark is the first phenomenon in the league's history with the power to change that. She is the golden goose, a one-woman stimulus package who could legitimately lead the league to financial independence, which would mean better salaries, better travel, and better benefits for every single player. By publicly and collectively trying to diminish their biggest asset, the players are, in a very real sense, lighting a fire under the very foundation they want to improve. This is the ultimate hypocrisy of the situation. The league and its players have spent years demanding more coverage, more respect, more fans, more money, and now, a single player has arrived and delivered all of it on a silver platter. And the response from many within the institution is not gratitude, but resentment. It's like being stranded in a desert, praying for rain, and then getting angry at the cloud for being too big when it finally arrives. They are showing the world that they want growth, but only on their own terms, and they seem deeply uncomfortable with the person who is actually making it happen. We can't ignore the subtext here, either. This isn't just a basketball issue, it's a cultural one. The WNBA has cultivated a specific identity over the years, one that is proudly progressive and heavily intertwined with social activism. Caitlin Clark's fanbase is different. It's a broader, more mainstream coalition that includes middle America conservative-leaning viewers and people who have never engaged with the WNBA's politics. They don't care about the players' activism, they just want to watch Clark play basketball. The 9th place vote feels, in part, like a rejection of this new audience. A way for the players to say, she is not us and her fans are not us. It's a dangerous game to play. What happens if Caitlin Clark decides she's had enough? She turned down millions from Ice Cube's Big 3 league to play in the WNBA for a $76,000 salary. There are lucrative leagues in Europe where she would be treated not just as a star, but as a queen. Imagine her dominating in Italy or Spain, enjoying the adoration of fans and the respect of her peers, while the WNBA is left trying to explain why their ratings have suddenly plummeted back to pre-Clark levels. The league is acting as if she needs them, when the reality is, they desperately need her, and their internal politics are putting that entire future at risk. But here's the most beautiful, ironic twist in this entire drama. The players made their statement. They cast their votes, they ranked her 9th, and it didn't matter. The fan vote was so colossal, so overwhelmingly powerful, that it completely steamrolled the players' protest. According to the WNBA's weighted formula, Clark's number 1 fan rank and number 3 media rank were more than enough to override the players' number 9. As a result, she wasn't just named an all-star. She was named a team captain. The institution tried to put her in her place, and the people lifted her higher. The revolution won. It does bring up a fascinating point about the fans themselves. Some have argued that well-meaning Indiana Fever fans may have accidentally contributed to the closeness of the guard race, thinking they were being fair and spreading the love. They might have cast votes for other deserving players alongside Clark. It's a nice, sportsmanlike gesture. But they were playing checkers in a game of high-stakes chess. They didn't realize the ballot was a battlefield. Every vote for another player was a vote that empowered the very group trying to diminish their star. This leaves Caitlin Clark in a truly unwinnable position. If she speaks out about the physicality or the disrespect, she's labeled a complainer or a diva who can't handle the pressure. If she stays silent and takes it, the behavior is normalized and continues. She's expected to be the face of the league, the engine of its growth, and a smiling, grateful target all at the same time. In the end, the All-Star ballot wasn't a reflection of Caitlin Clark. It was a mirror held up to the WNBA, and what it showed was a league caught between its proud, hard-fought past and its explosive, unpredictable future. The players made their statement by ranking her 9th. The fans made theirs by making her captain anyway. The silent war for the soul of the WNBA is no longer silent, and it has only just begun.